A man stands in a courtroom, not as a defender of the law, but as its defendant. In this moment, the entire architecture of justice, the bench, the witness stand, the public gallery, transforms from a stage for his profession into a mechanism turned against him. This is the pivotal reversal in Yang Woo-suk's 2013 film, The Prosecutor, a legal drama that operates with the quiet, accumulating force of a moral avalanche. Unlike the pyrotechnics of many courtroom thrillers, it chooses a path of simmering tension, where the real crime scene is not a physical location, but the compromised soul of a system. The film's production emerged from a specific cultural moment. Director Yang Woo-suk, transitioning from documentary filmmaking, sought to adapt a novel based on real events. His documentary background is palpable. There's a procedural, almost journalistic texture to the investigation sequences, a commitment to the granular detail of legal process over sensationalism. This grounded approach extended to casting. Kang Dong-won, often associated with more glamorous or action-oriented roles, was cast against type as the cynical prosecutor, Jae-won. His performance is built on restraint, his charisma buried under layers of world weariness. Opposite him, Lee Jung-jae brings a chilling, corporate calm to the role of the corrupt businessman Seok-gu, creating a villainy defined not by outbursts, but by cold, calculated entitlement. The film's visual language is deliberately subdued. Cinematographer Kim Tae-kyun employs a palette of grays, blues, and sterile office fluorescence. Courtrooms and corporate offices feel similarly cavernous and impersonal, suggesting two sides of the same coin of institutional power. The camera often holds on characters in medium shots, trapping them within the frame of their environments, emphasizing their entrapment within larger systems. At its core, The Prosecutor is less about solving a crime and more about diagnosing a condition. The initial crime, a murder, is almost a MacGuffin. The true subject is the metastatic corruption that has intertwined political influence, corporate capital, and the legal apparatus itself. The system isn't just broken. It has been co-opted, operating with a sinister new logic. Jae-won's journey is not a heroic awakening, but a reluctant corrosion of his own cynicism. He begins the film as a cog, skilled at navigating the system's gray areas for personal gain. His motivation isn't justice, but a personal vendetta and professional ambition. The film's insight is that in a thoroughly corrupted environment, even selfish motives can accidentally align with moral ones, creating a deeply flawed vessel for change. This complexity is mirrored in the antagonist, Seok-hee. He is not a cartoonish monster, but a product and perfect executor of the system's new rules. His power lies in his understanding that the law is not an abstract ideal, but a network of influence and transaction. His calm assurance is more terrifying than any threat because it reflects a perceived invincibility granted by the status quo. The film meticulously dissects the mechanics of this corruption. It shows how influence flows through quiet conversations in private clubs, through strategic promotions and demotions within the prosecutor's office, and through the manipulation of media narratives. Justice becomes a battlefield of information control, where evidence is less about truth and more about who can shape the story. A crucial, often overlooked theme is the role of complicity. Jae-won's colleagues and superiors are not mustache-twirling villains. They are pragmatists, men who have made peace with small compromises that collectively enable grand atrocities. The film asks an uncomfortable question: in a broken system, is active malice required to perpetuate evil, or is passive acceptance sufficient? The courtroom scenes, when they arrive, carry the weight of this entire systemic critique. The legal ritual, the speeches, the evidence, the objections. Feels like a fragile performance of justice draped over a reality of brutal power dynamics. The most intense drama occurs not in dramatic witness breakdowns, but in the silent exchanges, the knowing glances between those aware of the real game being played. The film's conclusion is notably ambivalent. It offers a nominal victory, a case won, but the atmosphere is not of triumph, but of exhaustion and sober realization. The corrupt businessman may fall, but the networks that enabled him, the institutional lethargy, the culture of compromise, these remain largely intact. The victory is personal for Jae-won, but systemic change is hinted to be a far longer, more arduous war. This ambiguity is the film's greatest strength. It rejects the cathartic fantasy of a lone hero cleansing the temple. Instead, it posits justice as a continuous, often thankless struggle against a hydra-headed opponent. Jae-won ends the film not on a podium, but alone, having traded his former life for a clearer, more burdened conscience. In this sense, The Prosecutor functions as a mirror. For its Korean audience, it reflected contemporary anxieties about chaebol power and institutional integrity. For a global viewer, it becomes a timeless study of how power corrupts and how that corruption insulates itself within the very structures meant to check it. The film endures not for its plot twists, but for its haunting atmosphere of ethical claustrophobia. It presents a world where the right thing is rarely clear, and doing it often requires sacrificing the very safety the system promises. The prosecutor's ultimate trial is not the one in the courtroom, but the one within himself, a trial that never truly adjourns. Ultimately, Yang Woo-suk's film suggests that, in the face of systemic decay, individual integrity becomes a radical and isolating act. The Prosecutor is a slow burn, not toward an explosion, but toward a cold, clear light. The light of seeing one's world and one's role in it, with unflinching eyes. Thank you for watching until the end. We pour our passion into every single video essay, exploring the stories behind the movies we all love. If you stumbled upon this video by chance, there is a very high probability you might never see our channel again in your feed. So please take a moment to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and ring the bell. We are actively growing this community of cinema lovers, and your support is what helps us make our content better and more insightful every single day. Let's explore the magic of filmmaking together. See you in the next one.